Hi everybody, Vermont Survivalist here, and I want to talk a little bit about slavery and a lot of misconceptions that we get with slavery. Um, Slavery back in the day, and I'm talking slavery's happening now, but back in the day, slavery we'll go 1700s, 1800s was acceptable. It wasn't a problem. Quite frankly, it just wasn't a problem. It was a trade. It was a way to make money, and it was an acceptable way to make money. Human trafficking was like car dealerships. You know what I mean? Straight up. I just find it funny how you get these intellectuals, you know what I mean, and they get it all screwed up where they think that it just happened in the U.S. It really didn't. U.S. was like what, 9% of the slave trade. I mean, it was very low. Slaves were acceptable all over the world. I think a few places like England frowned on them, and it kind of makes you think where the United States would have been if England won the Revolutionary War, because it was frowned upon. England did not accept it, and a few other countries didn't accept it either. But worldly, it was acceptable, and what pisses me off about this whole slave argument, about this whole argument about North South bullshit, is that people on the minute people think of slaves, they instantly think of blacks, and especially in the U.S., they instantly think of black people, and especially liberals. They'll just boom, they'll instantly. Thanks a lot. You know it. Really, that's it. It just really pisses me off that these intellectuals will just think that this was just a U.S. problem. This was just, it's the U.S. thing. Oh my God, it's all the U.S.'s fault. The U.S. thought up it, made up it. Well, no, that isn't true. And the Indians took slaves. Yes, the Indians took slaves. So Vikings took slaves. Everybody took slaves. It was acceptable. Now it's very much unacceptable. Now, if you sat there and said, "Yeah, I got 3 or 4 slaves," you might get arrested. It will happen. Now, unfortunately, with the backlash of this, and like I said before, people are just taking it out on the wrong thing. That they don't see that it was acceptable. The intellectual thing would be to, well, let's learn from this. Let bygones be bygones. It's in our past. And what you see is not intellectual. The whole shunning of the Confederate flag. Should the Confederate flag be flying on state buildings and federal buildings? No. The South lost the war, and that's it. They should be flying the U.S. flag only. But what the fuck? People have the right to fly whatever flag they want to fly, just as long as they have an allegiance to the American flag, flat out. If you hold allegiance to the Southern flag, then I question your motives. The Southern and a lot of people think the South are evil because how they treated blacks back. Look, let's just get this clear, okay? I want to get this out perfectly. Just get it out. The reason why South treated blacks the way they did is because they were pissed beyond belief. Okay, they just lost a fucking war. Okay, and the whole reason was because of blacks. Everybody knew. It wasn't a secret. You know what I mean? So what would you do? You get what I'm saying? What would you do? Now, I'm not condoning the treatment of black people by this. I'm not condoning it at all. But I'm saying these guys were angry. Some people are still angry to this day that the South lost. How would you treat? Huh? What, you're going to treat? No. Some of these guys, some of these people back in the day, they didn't want to give up. The South did not want to give up. General Lee, the only reason why General Lee surrendered is because he didn't want to sacrifice his people to the slaughter. That's it. There's a lot of people back in the day that believed in the South's interests. They believed that this was a holy war. This was their revolution. That's what they believed. A lot of them would have died, and a lot of them did die for that reason alone. So it was a little bit of reprisals going on. You know what I mean? There's a lot of reprisals, and the anger of them losing was focused on the blacks, because who else are you going to take it out on? You know what I mean? You can't go knock on the White House door. You just lost a fucking war. So that's my spiel on it. I mean, it's just I just think it's childish for people to sit there and talk about slavery and just focus on the black side of things. The whole world had a slave trade going on at one time or another, and it's still going on to this day. So that's just it. And Vermont Survivalists, good to go.